Assalamu alaikum. I am your host Muhammad Shiraz. Welcome to the program Computer Programming Concepts launched by Allama Iqbal Open University for the guidance of BS Computer Science students. Dear students, this is our program number 13, and in this program we will discuss about functions. We have been using functions right from the beginning of our programs. Today we are going to explore what are functions, how can we use functions, and how can we define our own functions. So let's start our today's discussion. Our today's discussion, the following contents: we will study what is function, and we will discuss different types of functions. A function is simply defined as a function is a named block of statements that is executed whenever it is called. Name of a function represents a block of statements. It provides a mechanism for code reusability. It means we can define a code once, we can access that code by using the name of function again and again. The block of function is defined once and can be used many times. C program can be thought of as a collection of functions. Functions can be created and stored in header files. What are header files? These are the files that are stored in the C library. They can be reused just by including in a program. We will study about header files later on. Functions split logic of program into small and easily manageable units. It means that if we embed all of our logic in a single function, it will make our program more complex. Adding more and more code to a single unit increases the size of program, and large size of the program makes the logic of the program complex, and it becomes very difficult to maintain the program in case of errors. Therefore, we use functions to split the logic of program into small and easily manageable units. Types of functions. There are generally two types of functions that are used in C language: library functions and user-defined functions. First, we will study about library functions. These functions are defined in the library of C and are organized into header files. For example, we have been using different types of library functions in our programs earlier on. We used clr_scr, that is a function which is used to clear the screen. This function is defined in C library. Similarly, we use getch, that is for get character, and this function is used to take input of character from keyboard. Similarly, we use printf function, we use scanf function, and there are many other library functions that can be used. The header files of these functions is included in the program. It means whenever you want to access library function, you need to include the header file of these functions in your program. Once the header file is included in the program, then we can access all the library functions that are accessible through that header files. Header files are basically some library files that contain the prototypes of the library functions. User-defined functions. C language allows user to define user-defined functions. The function declared and defined by the users are called user-defined functions. A function is defined once and can be called many times within the program. User-defined functions are available only for the specific program in which they are defined. It is also possible to add user-defined functions to the library by creating header files. User-defined functions involve the following steps. We need to declare a function by using function declaration statement. We need to define a function by using function definition statement. And then we can call the function by using function calling statement. Let's study each one in detail. Function declaration. In function declaration, the general prototype or model of the function is declared. The declaration of function includes return type. What is return type? It will be discussed later on. Name of the function and parameter list of the function. What are parameters? It will be discussed later on. General syntax for the function declaration is as you define return type, then space, name of the function, and then parameter list of the function inside the parentheses. For example, this is a statement, void show followed by parentheses. In this statement, we are declaring a function with return type void. What is void? It will be discussed later on. Name of the function is show and followed by blank parentheses. This is another example of function declaration. This statement declares a function with return type int, name of the function square, and parameter list of the function includes an integer parameter with name x. Function definition. Function definition is composed of the actual logic of the function. It starts with opening braces and ends with closing braces. The body of the function implements the actual purpose of the function. General syntax for function definition is as the first line of the function definition is just like function declaration. It is also called declarator. It is composed of the return type exactly like in the function declaration, name of the function exactly like in function declaration, and parameters of the function is defined in the parameter list at function declaration. Then definition of the function starts with opening braces. The body of the function may be composed of one or more statements, and then function definition is terminated by closing braces. Function calling. This statement is used to call a function. Once the function is defined, then it can be called by using the name of the function. Whenever a function is called, control is transferred to the body of the called function. When the function body is executed, then control returns back to the calling function. When the function has been executed, control returns to the calling function, and then statements following the function call are executed. Let's study an example of user-defined function. In this example, we are declaring a simple function with the name show. You see on the computer screen that we have declared a function with return type void, and then name of the function is show followed by parenthesis and terminated by semicolon. This statement just instructs that later on in the program there will be a function defined with the name show, return type void and blank parenthesis. This is also called prototype of the function. Then we are using main function. You should remember that main by itself is also a function. Therefore, we use return type of main is void, the name of the function is main, and followed by blank parenthesis. Body of main starts from here. Body of main is closed by this closing braces. When the main function has been defined, then the definition of show function starts. You should remember that each function has its own definition. You cannot define a function inside the body of another function. We know main is a function, so we define main, then we define other functions, and each function will have its own body. Here in this example, show function has its own body, and inside its body it just displays a message, this is show. You see on the computer screen that the definition of the show function starts after the closing braces of the main function, which shows that show function has complete separate definition than main function. Now, how this program will be executed? When we execute the program, control will enter the body of main. Here the first statement is to display a message, this is man. When this statement has been executed, then in the next line we are calling the function show. From here control will jump outside the body of the main function and control will be transferred to the show function. It will enter the body of show and all the statements inside the body of the called function will be executed. Here in this example there is a single statement printf that will be executed inside the body of show function, and when this message has been displayed, then by reaching the closing braces of show, control will move back towards the calling function. As show function has been called from main function this time, therefore control will come back inside the main function. Now this statement has been executed. The purpose of this statement here is that to call the show function and just display a message, this is show. Then the following statement printf will call library function printf and display the message on the computer screen back in man, and then our program will be terminated. Now let's exercise this program on the computer screen. Dear students, you see here in this example that we have declared a function with the name void show, just as shown on the computer earlier. Then there is void main function. Inside that we are calling CLR is CR for clearing the string, and then printf function to display the message, this is main, just to show you that currently control is inside the main function. Then there is calling statement show. To call a function you need just to quote the name of the function followed by parenthesis, and then there is another function printf to show that control has come back to the main function after the show function has executed. Now let's compile this program. Compilation report says there is no error, and when we execute the program, so you see the output is that first this is man, the printf statement has been executed, then this is show is displayed from inside the show function, and control came back to the main function, and then the message back in main has been displayed. We can make it more clear by changing the line each time. Now let's see. First, the printf statement inside the main function has been executed, then the show function has been called, control jump to the show function, and from inside show the message this is show has been displayed, and after that control came back to the main function and the message back in main has been displayed on the computer screen. So dear students, in this example we studied how to define a simple function. As we studied earlier, that a user defined function is composed of 3 steps. First, you will have to declare your function in the prototype, and declaration has its own syntax. Then you will have to define the function. Definition of the function is composed of the actual logic or actual purpose of the function. It means that in the definition of function we quote what the function will do, for which purpose this function has been designed, and then in the calling function we call a function. You should remember, once a function is defined correctly, then you can call the functions, then you can call a function many times in your program. Let's study another example. In this example, there are 2 user defined functions. At line number 1, we have declared a function with the name show, and return type is still void. Similarly, there is another function with the name display, return type void. You should remember that function declaration statement is terminated by semicolon. Then main function has been defined. The body of main function starts at line number 4 and it ends at line number 10. Then after the main function, the body of show function is defined. Still, the body of show function contains a single statement that displays a message on the computer screen. After show function, another function has been defined with the name display. You should notice in these examples that the first line, the declarator line of the function definition, resembles to the function declaration statement. The body of display function starts from line number 16, it ends at line number 18, and its body also contains a single statement that displays the message on the computer screen. This is display. You should remember, the body of function may contain any sort of simple or complex logic. Here, through these examples, we are going just to study that how user defined functions are implemented. That's why we are just displaying simple messages from inside the body of user defined functions. You should remember that it is not always the case actually to display messages from inside the body of the user defined functions. We define functions to implement a logic in a separately named unit. So how this program will be executed? When program is executed, control will enter the body of main. The first statement inside the body of main is to display a message, this is main. Then display function is called at line number 6. From there, control will move toward display function, and inside the body of display function, a single statement printf will be executed, and that will display the message, this is display. When display function has been executed, then control will come back towards the calling function, that is main in this case. Then show function will be called at line number 7. From there, control will jump towards the body of show function. Inside the body of show, the message this is show will be displayed. and when show function has been executed, then control will come back towards the calling function, that is main in this case, and after the show function has been executed, the following statement printf will be executed, and this function will display a message back in main. So as you see here on the computer screen, the output generated will be just like this. Now let's exercise this example on the computer screen. This is the same example that we discussed on the computer screen. This example contains two user defined function, void show and void display. Then main function, control will enter the main function. First CLR SCR function will be called from library functions to clear the screen. Then printf function will display the message this is main. After that display function will be called. From there the message this is display will be displayed. Then control will come back towards the main function. The next statement show will be called. From there the message this is show will be displayed. Then control will come back towards main, and then the following statement printf will be executed. It will display the message back in main. So let's execute this program. You see the same output is generated. First the message this is main is displayed, then this is displayed from inside display function, then this is show is displayed from the show function, and then control back towards the main function, and then the message back in main is displayed on the computer screen. Dear students, you should remember that it is not necessary to call a function in the same order in which they are declared. You can call a function in any order. Let's study an example. In this example, we have declared two functions, show and display. You see that here in this example, show function is called first and then display function is called. We may alter this sequence. Let's observe on the computer screen. Though in this example first show function has been defined, but you see that while calling the function we are calling display function first, and it will work. There is no problem by changing the sequence of calling the function. There is no relationship between function declaration and function calling order. You can declare functions in any order, you can define function in any order. It is also not necessary to define functions in the same order in which order they are declared. For example, in this example we have declared two functions, void show and void display, and in definition we defined show function first and then display function, but it is not necessary to first define show function and then display function. We may define display function first and then show function. Let's exercises. For example, this is show function. We are changing the sequence of the function here. Now you see that first we defined display function and then show function, but you will see that there will be no problem in the execution of the program. Still our program will work. You should also remember one other point regarding functions, that you may call a function many times. It is not necessary to call a function once. For example, in this example we are calling show function 3 times. So when this program is executed, control will enter the main function. At line number 5, it will call show function. From there it will display the message this is show. Then control will come back to the calling function main. Again it will call the show function at line number 6. Control will move again to the show function. There the message this is show will be displayed, and from there control will come back to the main function again. At line number 7 again show function is called, and there the message this is show is displayed, and then at line number 8 displayed function is called. You should also remember that you may call a function many times, and each time a function is called, control jumps from the calling function to the called function, and at the execution of the called function control come back to the calling function. Now let's exercise this example on the computer screen. Now you see when the program is executed, it displays this is show 3 times, is the show function is called 3 times, and then this is display once, is display function is called only once. So dear students, in today's program we discussed what is function, what is the significance of function, and what are different types of functions. We also started an introduction to the user defined functions. We will study more about user defined functions in next program inshallah. Till then, Allah Hafiz.